And welcome to another video review. I am the techgooch, and this week, or this time, we are doing another camcorder review. And this one, if you might have noticed that the view is a little different than usual, we'll go back to this usual format here in a moment, but it's going to be over a new action camera. This time I have the new Sony AS100V action camera. It's not in the case, because that's what you're seeing. So why don't we go ahead and just switch cameras and get right into the actual review. So here we are. This is a nice packaging for the AS100V camera, and here's all the goodies that came inside. I'm not going to do an unboxing like I normally do because I'm not a huge big fan of them, but you can watch out plenty of them online. I've seen several myself, so if you want to see how it came out of the box, great. But here is the stuff after you get all the wrapping and all the other jazz off of it. I do have one other part that's actually still attached to it because I haven't been using it. This is the AS100V camcorder action camera from Sony. I did not own the prior ones. I had a GoPro Hero 3 that I just upgraded to this guy. And like many people, I don't have the money to afford a whole bunch of action cameras. So I sold my other one, got this one instead. I was kind of going between the Hero 3 Plus and this guy. For several things that the Sony does better versus what the Hero 3 does better, I chose to go with the Sony this time around, which not showing favoritism toward the Sony, but it does do several things I think a little bit better. There are things that the GoPro does better too, so don't quote me on which one's the best solution for you. It's going to depend on what you're doing. But I really like the form factor first of all. But let's just show you what's in the package obviously first. So we have the camcorder itself. They have a little adapter now for the tripod adapter. One thing to actually notice right here on the table as it's doing right now is it's setting up by itself. So the biggest gripe from the older was it the 15 and the 30, was that they were rounded on the bottom. They couldn't stand up by themselves. By itself, without even any adapters to it, it can stand up on its own. It's not the most secure. It just has a really small flat part on it now. You will notice this little mounting piece here. It's got a little, small little guy here, and that will allow it to actually attach to this, which is their tripod adapter for it. So you can see the little thumb screws. The nice thing is you don't have to have any tools to do, at least this part. You don't have to have tools to do any of it, but you're going to probably want some decent fingernails to get some of the mounts on it. So, but you can get it nice and tight. The one thing I really do like is that everything is metal. So similar like the GoPro has metal with metal nuts to pinch everything together. Everything still is metal, so even the tripod mount here is metal. And but that's the camera. We'll go over more of that. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here closer. Comes with a couple adhesive mounts, different shapes, so flat and a curved mount. Does come with the waterproof housing. Now this is their waterproof housing, but it's not their diving housing. So it's not the one that you're going to be able to go to like the 195 feet or whatever, just like the GoPros do. It does have that as an option, but this one is not the one. It does not come with that. Just slides right. I shouldn't say that. It doesn't slide right in when you have the tripod adapter like I just put on it. But when you take the tripod adapter off, because the tripod mount is already built in to the waterproof housing, it just slides right in and then just couples on like that. So that's the waterproof housing that comes with it. And of course, with the waterproof housing, just sets on the table as well. Comes with their quick clip, which is how it actually clips on. So once you, it has the standard corner tripod, you mount it to the bottom of the camera, and then the camera actually will, with these little pinchers here, maybe I'll get a little closer, will actually slide without the camera on there. It's kind of hard, so it'll slide and lock into place, and then it's attached to whatever this is attached to, and then you pinch this and unslide it. Very, very similar to the GoPro, however, with these little raised ridges here, actually tends to be a little easier than the GoPro quick attach point. And then, of course, almost useless instructions, to be honest. You know, this is their just standard limited warranty joke. This is all the languages that I don't speak or read. This is the consumer warranty. And now this little guy is their like quick setup, quick information that tells you almost nothing other than what the menu is going to say and how to charge the battery. It's brief and informative, but like it doesn't tell you what any of these things mean. Like most things anymore, the actual full-blown owner's manual is online. If you go to Sony's website, you look up this camera on their, even on their store, you scroll down, it says product information or downloadables or whichever, manuals. You can download this, and you can also download the full-blown manual. And so I decided to go through that just to see if there's something I was missing, which exactly some of these things actually meant. So like one of the things I had no idea was when you get to a lower menu, there are some settings, and I didn't know exactly which setting it was. So also things that I hope that they I've read a lot of reviews, I've watched a lot of reviews, read a lot of online reviews of the camera to make my choice of which one I was going to get. There is one big gripe right now, and I will tell you that it is true. It is also, you know, but up here where the GPS chip is, and yes, folks, this camera has a GPS chip, there is a nice little light. That light actually mirrors with this little light like there. It's a recording light. And so when it's pointed at you and you can't see the back, you can actually tell it's recording from that light up there. It's actually a record lamp. So every time you record, it glows red. Currently in the firmware, there is no way to shut it off. Unlike the GoPro, which does have that option, as well as a lot of other Sony cameras. The camera I'm using right now is a Sony Handycam. It has the ability, and currently the red light is shut off because I prefer to not let everybody else know when I'm recording. So I hope that they do fix that in the future. But that said, let's get a little bit closer, and we'll go and show you some more things. Alright, so here we are with our nice little gadgets here in front of us. We'll get rid of a few of these things that we don't need anymore. But we have our standard adhesive mounts, we have our quick attach that comes with the camera, our tripod adapter to make it work with any tripod on the market, and of course our waterproof housing. I'll show you real quick. I'll just kind of throw it in that waterproof housing just rather than screw on the other attach, and maybe I should show you how the housing goes in again. So basically you can see that they actually have little depress buttons here on the side to get at the menu buttons on the side, as well as a record button. Nice thing is that they do have a hold or a lockout, so you can't accidentally bump that if you don't wish. You have to unlock it and then push, or you can keep it unlocked if you so desire. I do like to keep it locked so I don't accidentally start recording when I don't mean to, or for that matter, when you're starting to record it, you can lock it so you don't stop recording when you don't mean to stop recording, which is always a bad thing as well. But it just slides right into the housing, just like, you know, any other housing for that matter. And you see there's a little tether on here, which even if this tether little plastic piece was to break, the door should keep just somebody as a tether so the door doesn't, you don't lose it or drop it or scratch the lens on it. And then on the top here there is a little hook that actually you hook the top on first, and then you bring the bottom in and you actually latch it with this simple plastic latch. There is a lock slide. You can actually see there to unlock it, so you pull down on that and then you unlock it. It's really actually a lot easier than the Hero 3 was. The Hero 3 Plus did a really good job of catching up, at least in that regard, but the standard 3 had a really bad unlock mechanism. I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't the biggest non-fan or non-believer in it. It was kind of a half pain though. So there we go. So now let's take the quick attachment. If you can see on the bottom, there is the guide here, so you can actually set it in the right direction. If you wanted to go the other way, it wouldn't work because we have a nice little piece of plastic in our way. But so that little guide goes into the hole that doesn't have threads, and then the threads go in here. Now this is the part where you either have to have fingernails, or in this matter, if you had like a nickel or a dime or a quarter or something, that's all you would need. But it does allow you to get it a little bit tighter than I think than just if they had some kind of little thread on here. The GoPro does a really good job with being able to do that, but I'm not trying to directly compare these to the GoPro, but that's just what I'm used to in the past. The nice thing about this is it doesn't stick out, so it's flush with everything, so once you set it, you set it. And then whatever this would be attached to, obviously, right here in this case, this is the nice flat one. You just can grab onto the camera and pinch this at the same time, slide it in, and we're good to go. To unslide it, you would just pinch here again and just unslide. It's actually, I think, easier than the quick attach or the quick clip that came with the GoPros. That's the one thing I do like about this clip system more, I guess. Obviously, it's something that's probably going to get used a lot, so I would probably have at least one backup of this guy, just because of the fact that it is plastic. It is an action camera. You're going to be doing stuff in rough situations, so I'm going to have to get some extra parts. I don't know. I haven't looked yet whether or not how readily available this guy is, but maybe it's a lot more. The type of plastic doesn't seem like cheap plastic, like it's going to fall apart on me. But I will just say that things like that tend to happen, of course, when you don't want them to. So if I pull this guy out, I can do the same thing as with the housing. If I didn't want to use the housing, the nice thing is that the 100V here is water resistant, or what they like to classify as splash proof. Splash proof meaning that it can get rained on, it can get things that just can't be submerged in water. If you submerge it, obviously there's ports up here. It would seep in areas that would eventually ruin the camera. But rain, splash, things like that, you're not going to really destroy it. Obviously, if you were to get mud up in these ports, I wouldn't highly recommend that either. So if you're going to be doing stuff in mud, I wouldn't keep it out by itself as well. But if you're using it in just easy, standard situations, urban situations and stuff like that, you're fine to use it just as is. Obviously, you're going to get a better shot because there's not an extra piece of plastic put in the lens in the environment. But same thing goes with this. There's a nice little guide here again for the little guide knob. And then you can just screw it right on, and you're set from there. I do have a little tripod over here that I rarely use because I'm not a big fan of this little guy, but same thing goes. This has a little guide, but most cameras, most video cameras, things, the guide goes in the front. On the action camera, the guide goes in the back. So in some situations like this one has a spring-loaded guide, you just push the spring-loaded guide down if you want to keep it in the same orientation as how like the nice pivoting the control arm is. But in the case with the tripod that my other camera is attached to currently, it's not a spring-loaded guide. It's actually a plastic rivet, and you can remove it underneath. You have to do this little pinching thing, and it comes out, and then you can actually set it rather than putting it in backwards and then controlling it backwards. And of course, the lens is such a wide angle, you'd probably get this in the shot as well, so it wouldn't look very cool. So that's that part of it. So getting to the camera now. One thing you'll notice on here is a couple logos, one being NFC. Setting it up for mobile remote viewing with a cell phone or smartphone. NFC, obviously, if you have an Android phone with NFC, you can just tap it to here and it'll actually sync it up. All the little details are in the instructions for you. Secondly, if you have an iPhone, it doesn't use NFC, so this is meaningless, but you go into the settings, you connect to it, just like you do with the GoPros. You go into the Wi-Fi settings, you connect directly to it. There is a little bit different with this. You don't set up your own password. It has a password, actually, in the instruction manual. So, show you real quick, first page. Nice little sticker down here, which obviously then you can attach to whatever, but it gives you the Wi-Fi direct password and the SSID for it. And then, so that's what the Wi-Fi is, obviously. And then you can remote view, you can remotely control it, take a picture, set it up for video, take video. Obviously, I always use it just specifically to set up my shot. Earlier when I did the intro, I did hit record and stop recording using the remote app as well. So you can also supposedly, and I haven't gotten this part to work yet, transfer videos from here to your device through the app as well. So you can actually share them through your phone. Right now, I cannot get the iPhone one to do that. So there may be a glitch in the app, or maybe it's a firmware update I got to do. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm going to review that part in a later video anyway. This is more just on the camera itself. So obviously, the nice thing is it's really easy to control. That's one thing that I really didn't like the GoPro as much. The Hero 3, the buttons were hard to push on it, and earlier firmware versions there was a lot of problems, but the latest firmware that I was running, it didn't really freeze or die. But you can hit either of these to wake it up. It wakes up and it's set right in movie mode, so you can just come back here, hit go and go. Which, as long as you're not locked, obviously, you can just push it. And of course the light lights up, and the red light up top lights up, and off we go to the races. Click again to stop, and of course it does its standard Sony sounds. And then you can change modes just by hitting next or previous to, I can't read backwards. I guess that's telling me how many pictures I have available. Interval, so you can actually take pictures on an interval. Right now I have it set up for, I believe, 5-second interval. Then I go to V mode, which you can actually change your video mode, so the quality of your video. So if I actually go in here, so I hit the record button to go into it. Right now I'm on 50 megabits per second in my V mode, and I can change that to 60p, 30p, 24p, and of course that's based on NTSC. So I'm going to hit back, and then I go into setup, which I can actually change all the settings, and then play, I can actually play stuff if I was on another device. Power off, and then I can actually power off by clicking the button. Same thing goes if I actually wake it up. Oh, sorry, hit the wrong button to wake it up. Hit the wrong one. Use. And then if I go previous, power off, click it, power off. The one thing I will say is battery life seems to be spectacular in comparison to the GoPro. Everybody says the same thing. It's actually got a lot of battery life in it compared to at least the GoPro Hero 3. Should have more than, at least if not more than the Hero 3 Plus. Has higher megapixel rate, so 13.5 versus 12 for the Hero 3 Plus, which that's so negligible in most cases that you're probably not going to see any difference in picture quality. Video quality, from what I've seen from my Hero 3 to this guy definitely does take a lot better video than the Hero 3 did. Specifically in lower light conditions. You know, Sony uses their backlit illuminated sensor in the sky, so it does a really good job in darker situations. And I will have more, hopefully, videos in the future on that one in a future review. So one more item I did want to get you on the camera itself was underneath this guy. While you have even the tripod adapter, you can get to the charge port, or what they call the multi-port, which is a micro USB spot back here behind the back part, which is a little bit different than the older cameras as well. So you can actually use it even with when it's on a tripod, which is how you charge it, but also how if you it is a multi-port, it will accept other micro USB devices, which I'm not familiar with what else it can do yet. Otherwise, there is a micro HDMI port. There is a Sony proprietary port of some kind, and then an aux port, and that mic port. Blah, blah, blah. So that is where you can actually plug in a microphone, and we'll hopefully show you some audio. Obviously, when the first little video I shot for the intro was using this camera natively, just like this on the tripod mount, and that was it. No external mics or anything like that. So, but that is, in a word, the Sony AS100V action camera. So far, my thoughts are I'm happy to actually have it, to be honest. Like I said, I've sold my Hero 3, and I actually sold it on the thinking of I'm going to buy a Hero 3 Plus and replace that guy. And in the end, I actually chose this guy. And it's just because of the type of shooting I do, and not wanting to always have it in the watertight housing and everything to actually use it. I mean, I know I can get a different like the outer shell case, things like that for or the skeleton case or the frame for the GoPro, but that leaves it more vulnerable to just splashes and things like that. Being splash proof, I'm not as worried with that one, and then I get much better audio quality in doing so. That said, one of the big accessories, and one thing I didn't show you, is that you can mount a front housing over just the lens itself. And so that is one of the accessories you can get, is just a little cover to cover just the lens, so you can actually protect that. So if you want to use it raw like this in a little rougher situation and not worry about scratching your lens, that is easily a probability, obviously, to get. So there's probably going to be more accessories coming, and I do want to do some reviews of some of the accessories that I purchased. So far I have a head strap mount like I did for my GoPro. I also have the bike handlebar mount, and I really am actually quite impressed by the handlebar mount over the previous handlebar mount I had for my GoPro, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, to be honest. But that said, so far that's what I've got for you. Obviously, I'm going to have more videos in the future, like I did for my GoPro. I had accessories and things, and I'm going to do hopefully more reviews and accessories for this camera. And if you have ideas, please contact me directly through YouTube, or if you'd like, comment below, and hopefully I find it, and I'll get back with you. So thanks again for watching, and if you have any comments, comment below, subscribe above, let me know what you think. Thank you for all of those who actually support the channel, and if you have anybody else that you want to watch my videos, just make sure you forward this guy on to them. Hit the little share button below and send it on out. So with that said, thanks again for watching. This is the Tech Gooch saying adios.